Hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a yoke empath, and I just like doing these little talks and the way I feel about things. And I'm giggling because I just got this thought about how we're electricity. I got Benno over here sawing logs. This big booper. He's out in the ethers. His spirit is checking things out from a higher perspective. Anyway, I was just thinking about how um, like an electronic circuit, um, circuit board or anything, even in your house, if there's too much potential in the system, whether it's positive or negative, it'll freaking blow the switch, right? It'll short. There's safety measures put in place, so it doesn't start fire. And it shorts out. And what I'm finding is when it's too much of one thing, and I'm big on balance. I talk about it a lot. And what's happening is people are they're figuring out their ego and their spirit stuff, because everybody's talking about it. I mean, it's mainstream, so more people are coming into the realization. I mean, when CBS News is talking about how millennials are turning into astrology, that maybe gives me hope that maybe they'll like what I have to say one day. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I won't get heard until long after I'm gone. It don't matter. What I say ain't anything new. I just put the words in a different kind of order than people are used to hearing. And so people are shorting out right now, because they're in there too much of their ego or in too much of their spirit, Being too much in your spirit can be a detriment too. Absolutely. It's all about balance, And as above, so below. And I know there's a lot of unrest, but if you knew this, if you follow the astrology, if people follow the astrology right now, they'll recognize that what's happening in the world all across the board is intended to happen because the creeps have been winning for too long. And now, us wholesome hearted, simple folks need a chance to get our voices heard and our ideas recognized. I've been coming up with some pretty cool ideas lately. Tech is real weird, that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this live stream. A couple days ago, day before yesterday, I was trying to upload a video to Safari, and it wouldn't. And I looked on my outage page, and yes, there was an outage, and there's more people reporting, as I was trying to upload. And then, so I'm like, well, maybe I'll try, and I don't like the Fire one either. They're all just junk. Nothing. It's just like, that's the thing, is tech is so proprietary, and everybody's packing up their own toys and going back to their houses, and so tech isn't real compatible with one another. So people are having a hard time, And if you ain't savvy, you're not gonna, or know someone who is. It's gonna get harder to freaking do stuff. So I ended up going back to Safari to do the live because, like, earlier, just a few minutes ago, I tried to use the Fire one, and it wouldn't go. It just wouldn't go, and I wasn't interested in testing it that much. So I just came over here and thought I'd see if I could get it work, because I haven't done a live one in a while. I was thinking about, since more people are talking about collective energy and everybody has their idea about their higher power, and keep seeing all these stories about how millennials and this generation, the tech generation, the kids that were, I'm sorry that your parents weren't there to hang out with you and teach you, and priorities were different, My mom was always around, but she was still absent, so I know what it's like. Neglect is neglect, and there's a lot of people remembering that and feeling that right now, and they're coming into it, and it's really actually kind of, the alchemy of it all is really quite beautiful. And I was watching an interview to see Flea, him at 57, just happy as he could possibly be. He lost his heart a long time ago and fell into his heart. He lost his mind a long time ago and fell into his heart, based on his memoir title, Acid for All the Kids, or something like that. I probably got that wrong, but he just got married. He's living the best possible version of his life, you know. And sometimes people do that at early on. Sometimes people do that at 56. Sometimes people, you know, Reba just is starting her life over. She's getting a divorce after 26 years, Reba McEntire. And, you know, sometimes people start over at 80 when they lose their spouse, you know, because you got, once, every now and again, life gets redefined for you, whether you want it to or not, and how you're going to adapt to it, you know. World is hard and it's breaking people. People are shorting out and we're seeing people's true colors because, you know, a lot of times people have been choosing the easier, softer way because it's just easier to, you know, it's just easier to live with the narcissist and stay in the same environment or whatever than it is to freaking have enough faith in yourself and put yourself on your own trajectory. Everybody does what they do for a reason. Let's see. In the world today, tech is weird though, man. Tech is really, really glitchy. And it's always changing. I think a lot of times they roll things back versions and then roll them forward, but I only know that because I worked in IT for so many years and I saw it, you know, and I just always wondered how much data gets really lost. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I think about data, how it's collected, and then there's so much redundant data, and I look at people, and I look at people as redundant data too, because they all just repeat the same things, you know. People are just like little microbes that just, you know, repeat little snippets of what they've learned. I don't know. I guess I'm like Flea. I have one of those. It was really cool because freaking the people that I really, really resonate with, and the ones I resonated with for a real long time, they freaking, you know, they were, I call it, indoctrinated into the world, the real world, you know, earlier on in his story. He writes his memoir, that's what his story is about, for him to share that, but people are remembering, you know. See, the way I look at it is our DNA, or, like, my higher power, I look at it as electricity, like a house in a circuit, you know, and it's light, you know, speed, sound, everything travels in light, and that's everything, and it's a vibration, you know, and it's like, it has to function by connection, you know, from passing things on, like a message of hope or a message of dread, you know, what kind of vibe are you going to pass on? And one day I'm going to want to do cartoons. I'll animate what I see in my mind. It'll be a lot easier for people to understand, but it's like, I picture at the end, a fence, and you have holes in the fence, and then at certain parts of the day, sun shines through the fence really bright, and you see the light shine through the fence, okay? And that light that shines through, I picture that is the, like, electricity, the highest vibration of, I understand it as love. And so, people, you know, sometimes look through the fence and tap into that, you know, and get a glimpse of it, and then they tap out, you know, and the light changes, and then they lose the light, right? And, but more people are recognizing that light is in every single one of us, you know, and some people are afraid of that light, you know, some people think that light is gonna harm them, you know. It's like, you know, because like when so many people in their life, they're like, or have near-death experiences, they head towards the light. So that's what kind of gives me that idea. And so when people, and the people that are reincarnating or are passing on right now, they're reincarnating in an instant, because they're gonna freaking, you know, 5 years old, they're gonna know who they were in the last you know, right now, because that's how this shared consciousness stuff is working. Every idea, and in that light, I look at information as where information is stored there, and every possible idea that has ever existed, you know, that's where it's vaulted. That's where it's, it's housed, like in the happy place or void, you know, the void of light. So more and more people are waking up to the realization that light exists and that we're all connected into it, and how big of a contribution our thoughts and actions actually make to that in changing the um, the climate of the world in a literal and figurative manner, because our thoughts are creating, a lot of the stuff that are happening, and we could make a we could really honestly have heaven on earth, people gotta, that shift has to happen, that money becomes less important than people. But there's so many truths coming out, all this stuff, and it's like all the truths that are coming out. It's freaking pretty cool to see that all the astrology, because that's how I verify astrology to be true for myself, is that these are the potential energies that are going to happen on said days, that like this will be hard to, and then I wait for the day to come and I just live my life, just every day, and then something will happen. I'll be like, and at the end of the day, I'll do a review and I'll match the astrology, because I don't make stuff happen in life. I just respond to it, The tree today, I didn't make that, but I don't know, I'm still trying to not have too many ideas about it, because I could get myself really upset. But I'm not going to think about it too much. I'm just going to find something to preoccupy myself for the rest of the evening. I've been watching that doll face show. I like it. So far, I'm on episode 2. I think that's all I got. I just really wanted to test the stream. Tech is just so freaking weird, man. So it's all about divine. If your message gets out, it gets out. If it's not, I don't know. Hope you have a rad evening. Peace.